This is our final video in our Flower Shop landing page session. And in today's video, I'm going to look again at images. And what we're going to look at images today is, you can call it consistency. In the photography world and in video, we often refer to just it as a look. And a look is a style, the way the image looks. And I will show you a little bit regarding that, because at this moment, an image looks like an image looks, right? And that's the problem with quite a number of websites, is that people go to stock sites, they grab different images, and when they combine them on the site, there's something that just doesn't fit right there. And it's often because you've chosen images that have different stylization, a different look. So when I had started this landing page, I'd also gotten images like that. But within TOPAZ Studio, the photo editor I'll be using within this video, I had gone and I had used a few little easy tweak techniques to make my images very similar. And I'm going to show you that. And then in future tutorials for other landing pages, I'm going to do it again so that you can see kind of what I do there and how it works, just to get that look right. And hopefully this can even inspire you in the future when you are working on your pages to just go and do a little bit extra something for your images. Small things can make a lot of difference, and without you knowing it, all the images used on this site, I had applied a little bit of styling to them to give them all a little bit of a cohesive effect in their color. This way, my site feels consistent. And how I did that was to look at my main image, which is this one, and the colors that I had chosen. You see, like this burgundy, burgundy, brick, and then I had used some other lighter colors as well. Now, is it important? And I've talked about the stock photos that we often use. So let me give you an example of where you would say, that looks fine to me. But to somebody like me, I will tell you the two photos are slightly different. So here are the two images. I've used this one and I've used this one. The advice I can give you to start off with, if you want to know more about color, looks, and whether the images are consistent, and now we're talking from a creative perspective, nothing to do with WordPress, right? Is you look at what is pure white, 100% white. If you were to take a sheet of white paper and you say, this is the color white, then you look at these two photos and you have to decide what is white. And I know if you've never worked with it, you will tell me, white is white, right? No, white isn't just white. There are a lot of different colors of white, and it all depends in which context you see it. I'm not going to go into that because that's quite a lot. And you know, when you work with photos, almost one of the first things you do when you take your photos out of the camera is to determine whether the white balance is correct. That's another topic for another era. So here I want to show you these two images. The thing is, you think they are both beautiful, but these two don't really match. You see, over here I've got a little bit of a pink thing going. It's, you know, the hues are all over into the autumn range of these tulips. They've got orange and they've got, pink. But on this side it's green and white. So though both images are beautiful, they don't really go together very well. And if you were to put them on a website as hero images on top of each other, they actually feel a little bit disembodied. And that is where looks, well, a look is a certain style that you apply to an image, comes in. There is no one way to do it. And like I showed you in the previous tutorial, there are so many photo editing software apps out there at the moment, and they're growing. There was a time we were confined to Photoshop, but the last 5 years plus have seen an explosion of new apps coming out, and good ones. Even this one I'm using at the moment on One Photo Raw is my go-to one for if I want to edit images and make them look realistically. When it comes to stylization, I like TOPAZ Studio, and the new one, TOPAZ Studio 2, is quite a workhorse. There's still a lot of features that they have to bring in from TOPAZ Studio 1, but the things that I need it for can work. So remember these two images, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this image slightly more compatible to this one. I launched TOPAZ Studio, and remember to check the link in the description below. And what I will do now, let me go back here. So I'll grab this image. Let me just click here. Can I do that? I click and drag and I drop it down here. Good, here we go. There's a lot that you can do, but I'm going to show you one of the great features within TOPAZ Studio under their filters. Now, filters are effects, things that you can do to manipulate the image. And if I click here on this, you will see there are quite a lot of them. And you will find this in any photo editing software at this moment. Filters are a standard. They speed up your workflow and they make things more intelligent and they make them faster. The one that I'm particularly interested in is under the creative one, and it's called color theme over here. When I click on it, TOPAZ Studio 2 will insert the color theme up here, and then it will look like this down here. Now what it has done, and you see it says here over original color theme, it has analyzed my photo. It has selected the dominant color. So over here you see there's a green that comes from here. Then we've got this, what is that, rose pink, definitely comes from the tulips as well as this. And then we have these two that will come from the background. What I'll do now is I'm going to save this as a theme. And this is very similar to other color themes. The only difference is that what TOPAZ Studio has done with the color theme effect or filter, it has done this for me automatically. So to save it, I go up here to the little save icon and I click on it, and I'm going to call this Flower Shop Edit. And then I will say, okay. Now what will happen is that it saved the preset, and currently the presets are here in the bottom. And I say currently because since I made the previous video, the presets have changed. They've updated it. So these things change so quickly. So you can see here, Flower Shop E for edit. There's another Flower Shop one over there that I had worked on earlier. Okay, good. So that's what I've done. I've captured the theme color of this image. Now I'm going to bring in the other image. So I'll go back to my browser, click and drag on this one and bring it into TOPAZ Studio. Do I want to save the changes to this one? No, thank you. And I bring in the new one. Now I go to Add Filter. I scroll down again to Color Theme. And now you can see this is the original color theme that it's drawing from this picture. There are two greens, gray, and then more tints of gray to white. What I will do now is I'm going to select that preset. So I go here to Presets, and I'm going to click on the Flower Shop Edit. Look at what TOPAZ Studio has done here. It mapped each of these colors to a corresponding color from the original image I had used. But come on, this is just horrendous, right? Who wants this? And there are a number of ways that you can just adjust it slightly so you have more color harmonization between these two images. The one way is opacity. Opacity is the strength of this effect. So grabbing the slider, I can reduce the strength. And just a tad here, you can see that as a percentage, 20% at the moment. If I toggle the before and after, you will see it's changing a little bit. Now you will think it's white, but when I go to the before image, this is white. And this is what I meant by earlier. When is white white? It can be very deceptive. You can make it a little bit stronger over here. And now we are very close to that kind of color theme over there. Let's toggle it again and you'll see quite a difference. And the more you leave it on the affected one, the more you're going to think later, but this looks normal to me, until you look at that before image. You probably think, wait a minute, JP, this is just too much. Who cares about this? You won't believe it? I do, and so do thousands, tens of thousands, probably a million other as well. If you ever work with graphic designers or photographers, you will know that they are very, very particular about these kind of things. We refer to it often just as a look, the look of the image. And for me, when I have these two images next to each other, they don't look the same. So let's go and save this one, and I'm going to increase it even a little bit more over here. And what we'll do is we'll export it. So we go to export, and let's leave it at full quality, and I'm going to leave it in that folder, and we have an extra extension exported. And now that image is over there. Let's compare these two first so you can have an idea of how much different they are at this moment. And then let's grab these two. And you can see how much closer they are now to each other. You will think this looks a little bit unnatural. I'd be willing to agree with you. But the strange thing is that once you start throwing these things together on a website, they look very good. So let's go back to my site. And you will start to see that everywhere there's a little bit of pink rose of that theme that I had used in there. You're going to be hard pressed to find anything that is going to be perfect white as you would perceive white. You're going to notice that little tint there everywhere. And this way I give my site a very nice harmonious feeling to it and make things look consistent. I want to warn you though, this is a black hole. Once you start going down this path of playing around with your images, it can become very addictive, especially with the software nowadays. This is one way of doing it. There's dozens of other ways that you can do it. And a lot of people have asked me if I can do more tutorials on this. I know there's a lot of tutorials we're talking about, so we'll put this one on the agenda and we'll also probably shuffle it over to websites for beginners. But there are many fascinating filters within this TOPAZ Studio too, so go give these guys a drive. But I'm pretty sure the more you see what I do in TOPAZ Studio 2, you're going to find it very easy to use this photo editor. It's not that complicated and it focuses on the stuff that you need and the tools that you want to use.